Yeah, what are you taking photos of?
I'm trying to make a good photo, but
Okay, I
you're
should look
ruining
handsome
it.
then.
Yeah, exactly. You're ruining it every time.
Come join us live for Command AI
Okay,
every
that's
Friday
the
at
third
5 p.m.
try. Yeah. Bring
Mate,
us
there has been some
live.
cool news. I'm excited. I'm excited about this week because I've last week was just a bit model heavy. There is OpenAI Codex live stream right now with 10K people watching, so a few less here. I look forward to catching up with that. So, but in our things, if you share my screen. So
Yeah.
this one's actually scary. So basically, Alibaba have released a zero search LLM, which is just crazy. The cost savings are amazing. They've mentioned here it's 88% less cost reduction mechanism. 64,000 search queries using Google would cost around $586, right? Whereas 14 billion parameter simulation would only cost $70.80. So there's efficiency gains here as well.
It seems like what Alibaba has done is allowing LLMs to not use search engines and still have search capabilities, meaning that this is like double bad for Google and Microsoft. Like, not that humans are not going to use their search engines, LLMs are not going to use them either. And we already see by some estimates like 70% reduction in search. I was chatting with a client last week. He wanted to do a campaign. And then he asked me a question. And as he asked me, he started asking ChatGPT as well. And the question was more like Google oriented. And I was like, you just answered yourself. You yourself, not a tech guy, you didn't search it in Google. You asked ChatGPT for it. And I think this is like this point that everybody should realize, that like search engines are pretty much as good as dead. I don't know how it is for you, but if I Google something, I see this Google summary, like AI generated summary, and 90% of the times, maybe even more, I'm good with it. I don't read even the first link. I don't click anything.
No. It's funny you say this because I sent out a tweet last week. I don't want to dox myself or anything now, but I sent out a tweet this morning and I had Samuel here. My tweet yesterday was SEO is dead, I reckon.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that you say this. I think we still got a bit of a way. I think SEO is absolutely still relevant, and Samuel makes some good points here. But I do think we're in, because I think the way that people are searching is very different now. So this is AbsoluteZero.
Oh,
And
holy
this
shit.
is zero training data. Self-evolving mechanisms. It has no data and no data sets, no human labeled examples to guide it, just a system that evolves and improves entirely on its own. Absolute reasoning model introduces self-evolving AI, allowing autonomous learning, problem solving without relying on external data or human supervision. I think more people need to be talking about this for sure. Reinforcement learning with variable rewards. What that means, it's giving itself the parameters in which it knows it solved the problem. Whereas right now, the human is the intervention of did the machine get this right? But this one, it tells itself that it's right, basically. AbsoluteZero demonstrates cross-domain generalization, excelling in diverse fields as mathematics and coding.
This is really interesting.
This, to me, AbsoluteZero is, I think, a turning point.
Event Horizon is just there.
Yeah. Let's bring it back to web, because that scares me being there. So implicit caching. This is nice. This is happy stuff. Google adds implicit caching to Gemini 2.5. This is actually really, really helpful, and I think I wanted to raise this because there are a few things that you can do to actually take advantage of this. You know what caching is, right? I mean,
yeah, but what is implicit caching?
Basically, the AI will detect whether you are actually using the same words, the same phrases, whether it's got it, and it will cache it yourself. Right now, you have to actually do something to make it cache. Like, you need to actually trigger a caching, but this is automatically cache and automatically save you money at the end of the day. So I think this is good because we can take advantage of this. It needs a minimum request size, which is 1,024 tokens for 2.0 and 2.5 is 2,048 tokens. This is really easy to achieve. It's not like this isn't like you need a whole code base to actually, trigger this implicit caching. But what they're saying is that if you start common prefixes, it could be as simple as saying you are a software engineer, or just you having similar prompts to trigger that caching.
Is it like system prompts in a way?
You could probably use a system prompt to trigger it, I think. I've got a video coming up about this, actually. You have your global rules that you set on every single code base, every single project. So that might be a nice way to trigger the implicit caching. It's just going to help reduce the cost.
Yeah, that's great. The cost is definitely growing. So
okay, this is one of my articles that I wrote. Actually, I do post on LinkedIn. To be honest, this is actually I really welcome your thoughts here. Actually, on this one, right? Because Klarna kind of announced they went all in on AI, and I think they fired a lot of their workforce. They've now basically backtracked on their decision on this because they just started to receive really low quality results. They replaced their customer service as well, and just you see here, quality and empathy were sacrificed, and they're backtracking on it. So I mean, it's good to see that they've actually recognized that going all in on AI, it was a mistake. But at the same time, very, very recently, Duolingo declared themselves AI first. And I think they're going to realize the same thing. And I think I saw a video recently noticing the deterioration in quality on Duolingo. Just stories which in Duolingo were particularly kind of just sucking, basically. This whole idea of like replacing people with AI, entrepreneurs being empowered to build their own tools. But if you're firing people because of AI, there's no reason to start a company because no one's buying anything because they don't have to work. Do you see what I'm saying? It's this weird cyclical thing.
But that is far in the future. I don't honestly see this happening anytime soon. And I don't think these AI tools are quite there yet to take any jobs. We thought something like customer service would be gone by now. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen ever, but it's far in the future. And a good reason to think this way, at least that's how I think, how I came to this conclusion. Why would OpenAI pay $3 billion for a fork of VS Code? VS Code is free.
Crazy.
It's an open source code editor with a splash of AI on top of it. The only thing that has changed with AI, the way I see it, is like difficult problems are not difficult anymore. We can move faster, but it doesn't mean that programmers are obsolete.
I think this is a really nice segue into the next, not even article, but if you share my screen, there was an emergency debate that was brought together by Stephen Bartlett, the founder of Replit, and I was trying to find out who the other guys were. This guy, he was against AI, and he was very fearful of AI and how, workforces are being sort of replaced, and we sort of missed the boat a little. He wasn't a doomer, like he was very. There were certain things that he was very excited about, but he was very much like providing that other side, that consideration of why we should be prepared. I guess preparing ourselves for the inevitability that we're self-destructive with the onslaught of AI and whatever, and there'll be always people trying to capitalize on. There'll be plenty of people doing good, but there will be people who are right in this moment, building things to take advantage of people. The easiest one being imitating voices and then calling you up, pretending you're
scams.
I'm Granny and I need some money and can you send it to me? Scams, right? I think this is certainly a watch. It's interesting to see how the other side perceive AI and also the downsides. I'm going to move on to AI Notion.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, this AI Notion notes, it's like granola is in danger.
I've been using Fathom, and the notes in this app were absolutely incredible. They give you action items, they give you what the call was about, and you're able to chat with the transcript as well. Granola is really cool because it runs on your machine and it takes the input from your microphone and the I don't know how it does it, but the input from the other person, because Fathom joins your call. Granola, it's all on your machine. And what's nice is that you can actually take notes, as you can see here. You can kind of take notes as you're in the call as well, which you can't really do in Fathom. Really, really liked it. Used it for a couple of calls. And then Notion drops the bomb that they are doing the same thing. And I liked Granola because it actually felt like Notion, and it would copy directly into Notion, work perfectly. But now Notion have launched their own meeting notes app, and it is pretty good.
Everything from finances to hiring to team management to documentation, literally all my life is on Notion.
I want to use it more. If there's one criticism I have, is that it's so powerful, but it can be very quite messy to try and organize stuff. I think that's what you naturally get the more powerful a tool gets. It just gets a little bit convoluted, and I'll probably need to spend more time in Notion to get hold of it. Saying that, with these new AI notes, equally, it was a bit tricky to set up, and the integration isn't as nice. Fathom just pops up into the right-hand side. I can start the call with Fathom. It just goes into it, whereas I need to now create a new meeting, or seemingly, I don't know, I may need to look into it a bit more, and set off the recorder, and it's doing it. It's recording this call right now. The notes are great. The action items are great. I'm not sure if they're as good as Fathom, if I'm honest. I still need to do a few more calls, but they're pretty good. I mean, I don't know whether this is included in that Lenny's newsletter, because I have Notion Pro now.
I think Notion AI is different. And this seems to be very interesting. AI meeting notes, perfect meeting memory in Notion. So just like Granola. And what's really cool, you can transcript, you can get a summary, you can get a note. And this is so good, man, because I have a weekly meeting with my team. These AI tools, I think they are great for summary and note taking, to get back to them and to get back to the actual, note and see what was said. But I don't know if the actions are thorough and good enough for me to, to let them take over and, do the action.
Pretty cool. I'm using it. And it's free at the moment. I think they'll probably charge for it, but I think for me it's free at the moment, so we'll see. Let's move on. Two big releases from Windsurf and Cursor this week. Wave 9 introduced the SWE models that basically, I think that they are pretty much Claude, apparently outperforming Claude, which is pretty hard to believe, but there we go. Approximately Claude 3.5 sonnet levels tool call reasoning while being cheaper to serve. They attempt to address 3 different levels of coding, right? Whether it's a big sweeping change across the code base with complex reasoning and things like that, you're probably looking at something like number one light, smaller model, cascade, better quality, probably for lighter tasks and things like that. And then the mini is good for the tab, in page corrections and things like that. So I've started using this today. I was giving it a whirl. It's interesting because I think they had their own model, cascade base. You can see it here. I think it's just like an evolution of the cascade base, but pretty cool to have their own models, and this is potentially why they're worth $3 billion.
I still have Cursor because of that good deal, but I'm thinking maybe if I get stuck, or when I feel like the code quality is not good enough, maybe I don't know, I try a different tool and let's see what it does.
They're all pretty good. I like that it's integrated. They got their own models, whereas obviously Cursor don't. They're leveraging other models, but then they're free to make better software, which in fact that goes to, if I maybe open up the 0.50 launch, wherever it is, they're making some interesting updates to the UI. and the usability of the software. I need to understand the simplified pricing, so I'm not going to kind of go into it. It seemed like they were charging per request anyway, but then this one's also announcing they're charging per request. I even went back to the Wayback Machine to have a look if there's any difference from today than there is yesterday, but the pricing is the same. It's, so you get 500 credits. And a request is a credit, but then you max mode, which is like heavy duty stuff, which I should take advantage of. Really, it's like a 20% fee on top of the request itself. I'm not too sure. So unified request based token billing, can't really speak to more than that. New tab model, which is cross file intelligence refactoring. So this seems to be popping up so much in people's videos and things like that. The actual tab, the next to go, if you make a change and it knows that you want to make that, you need to make that change in the rest of the file. You just put tabs. Now it can do across the files, which is pretty cool. Background agent is also really cool with parallel task processing. Set your agent off, open up another window, do something else. Love that. Multiple. So this was interesting. This is something I've been trialing. I have the back end and the front end in my workspace, and I'm wondering, I was trialing if it would changes I would make or want to make would be able to just navigate across the whole code base, but it doesn't. Seemingly now it does. Multi-root workspaces, so you can have your back end and your front end as separate kind of, running. I don't know whether that computes with you, but like you have code for your front end, you have code for your back end, but they're separate code bases. They're not this. Sorry, I need to be on my microphone. They're not. It's not a mono repo, we call it, when the back end and the front end are all in the same code. So
awesome. So to wrap it up, something that might or might not be AI related, I have no idea. Framer has been creating quite a lot of buzz, a lot of people talking about this. I think there is a lot of, marketing to learn from them. Join us May 21st for a day of shipping. That's what Framer is saying. I have no idea what it is about. People are, there are people who have seen what Framer is going to be to announce, and people are like going crazy about it. So I just here said, now Framer is going after Figma by adding more design functionalities, basically going the other way around. But maybe vibe coding coming to Framer. Maybe an actual AI builder, maybe not AI at all. We don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I asked them to give me a beta preview so I can make a video on it, but haven't heard of.
As someone of your stature, gosh, that's rude, isn't it?
They're not doing. I'm gonna take it back. They're not doing a great marketing.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting. I feel like there's someone else who's launching something soon.
Everybody's shipping.
Everyone, and I'm excited to see what this. I've got to go meet a friend now for a drink, but I'm excited to read this AI ChatGPT OpenAI announcement that happened whilst we're lollygagging around talking about the news. So let's wrap it up here, and thanks everyone for joining in.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and see you in the next episode. Hopefully next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
5 at 5.